Sometimes you walk into a room, everyone is laughing and everything seems fine, but a voice inside you says, something's off here. Or there's someone you've just met, everyone is impressed by them. Everyone trusts them, but you just can't seem to feel at ease. You're not judging them, and you're not letting your imagination run wild. It occurred to me that what you're feeling might actually be a gift mentioned in the Bible. Spiritual discernment, something deeper than intuition, sharper than observation, and far more accurate than personal opinion. This gift doesn't really stand out. It doesn't draw crowds like prophecy, nor does it take center stage with praise or worship. But today, it's one of the gifts the church needs most, and to be honest, most people who possess this gift aren't even aware of it. They constantly question themselves. Why do I feel different from everyone else? Why do certain conversations and certain environments wear me out so much? Why do I feel a weight that no one else notices? They silently carry a burden, a sense of responsibility, a deep hunger for truth and purity. If this sounds familiar to you, chances are you too are walking with this gift, perhaps without even realizing it. Today, we'll take an honest look at this mysterious gift together. We'll go through 7 signs and we'll confirm something that's always been within you, while others might surprise you. If you're ready, let's begin. First, you sense what others don't notice. There is a form of perception that is invisible to the eye, a kind of knowledge that transcends logic and comes directly from the Spirit. As soon as people with this gift enter a room, they pick up on something that others completely miss. The room may seem peaceful, and the conversation may be pleasant, but deep down, they sense a spiritual reality that isn't visible on the surface. In his letter to the Corinthians, Paul refers to this as discerning spirits. This isn't just about identifying evil spirits. It's also about sensing the spiritual atmosphere, understanding whether God's peace is at work or if something is amiss. I remember attending a church service. The music was beautiful. The sermon was good and everyone seemed at ease, but I didn't feel at ease at all. Then months later, a truly serious problem related to that meeting came to light. I had sensed something that day that no one else could see. It wasn't a coincidence. It was intuition. Or take another example. You might meet someone who says all the right things but whom you just can't bring yourself to trust, and then weeks or months later, the truth comes to light. The important thing here is this. It's not about skepticism. True intuition springs from love. The Holy Spirit warns you not to judge you, but to help you pray, prepare, and protect yourself. Those who have this gift often know that something is wrong but cannot find the words to explain it. This can make you feel alone, but at the same time, this is one of the ways God protects his people from spiritual deception, false teachings, and hidden dangers. Second, you recognize the truth immediately, without evidence. In a world full of interpretations, half-truths, and carefully packaged lies, people who possess this gift recognize the truth the moment they hear it. With the same clarity, they also spot falsehood disguised as truth. There's a clear command in John's letter. Do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits. This isn't just a precaution, it's a call to action. What would you do if you met someone everyone trusted and was impressed by, but you just couldn't warm up to them? That's exactly what happened to me. I met someone who was popular, charismatic, and even seemed successful in ministry. But something inside me said, this person isn't entirely honest. Time passed, and the truth came to light. No one believed me. But I wasn't surprised because my spirit had already sensed something my mind hadn't yet been able to prove. This gift might make you question yourself. Am I being too judgmental? Am I being too cautious? But time and again you'll realize that your spiritual radar was right. Not because you're smarter or wiser, but because the Holy Spirit is guiding you toward the truth. This gift also keeps the congregation strong. While others chase after every new teaching and every emotional experience, people with this gift are like an anchor. They are not swayed by charisma. They are not deceived by appearances, and they listen to the voice of the Spirit. Third, you're drawn to pray and intercede. People who possess this gift are moved to pray even when no one else is aware of anything. I don't just mean a regular prayer life, though that's important, of course, but what I'm referring to here is something different. Feeling the urge to intercede for a situation, a person, or even an entire community without even knowing the details. In Romans, it says that the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groans too deep for words. That's exactly this feeling. You might wake up in the middle of the night and think of someone, or feel a sense of urgency for no apparent reason in the middle of the day. There may be no visible crisis, and you might not even fully know why you're praying, but you know you need to pray. In Ephesians, Paul urges us to pray in the Spirit at every opportunity. People who possess this gift live it almost instinctively. When something goes spiritually wrong, they don't turn to gossip or panic, they turn to prayer. They don't just react emotionally, they respond spiritually. And here's the beautiful part. These people generally become spiritual watchmen. They pray before the storm breaks. They intervene before problems become apparent, even if others don't realize the importance of their prayers. In heaven, those prayers change the atmosphere, protect their leaders, and thwart the enemy's attacks that go unnoticed by anyone. Fourth, you feel a deep longing for spiritual purity. This is a desire for purity not just in your own life, but in the entire community. It has nothing to do with being perfect or self-righteous. In fact, people who possess this gift are generally much more aware of their own shortcomings. But when sin is taken lightly, when holiness is disregarded, or when it is watered down to please people, something inside them suffers. In the Psalms, there's a verse that says, "Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me." This is the cry of someone yearning for purity, not just outward behavior, but an inner transformation. My heart aches at times when I see the congregation drifting away from its calling. While others may laugh off certain behaviors, you may feel uneasy. You may find something that others see as harmless to be spiritually dangerous. Sometimes you may weep in the face of sin, not out of judgment, but out of a broken heart. This deep longing sometimes leads to conflict. Others may label you as too serious or too intense, but what they don't understand is this. You're not acting like a religious person. You're responding to the Spirit. Because you've tasted God's peace and because you know the cost of compromise, you carry His heart for purity. Fifth, you sense the enemy's tactics. Sometimes you pick up on something no one else notices. A small lie, a distorted truth, a minor concession that no one else cares about. It might be in a message, a gesture, a conversation, or even a piece of media content. You might not be able to explain it right away. But deep down you know this isn't from God, this isn't paranoia, nor is it overthinking. It's your spiritual intuition, the ability to sense the enemy's plans before they're fully revealed. Ephesians tells us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the evil spiritual forces in the heavenly realms. People who possess this gift know this deeply. They aren't distracted by superficial distractions. They see what the eye cannot see. And they are usually the first to notice the spiritual battle that others have unwittingly entered. This sensitivity can manifest in unexpected ways. You might feel a sense of heaviness inside while watching or listening to something others find harmless. A popular trend, a widely accepted teaching, or even advice that is widely embraced in Christian circles can deeply disturb you. An alarm goes off inside you, and the Holy Spirit whispers, "This is not from me." People with this gift are like spiritual sentinels, positioned to detect the enemy's activity and issue a warning before harm is done. But because these warnings often go against the popular or accepted current, they aren't always well received. Sometimes you're labeled as too negative or too cautious, but over time, your warnings prove to be correct. Sixth, you feel misunderstood or alone. This part can be truly painful. If you carry this gift, you've likely also experienced the loneliness that comes with it. You see what others don't see. You carry burdens others don't understand. You cry out about dangers others don't care about. And this can sometimes make you feel like an outsider, even within your own congregation, even in your own church. The prophet Elijah experienced exactly this in 1 Kings. After bringing down fire from heaven and standing boldly against the prophets of Baal, he fled into the desert and cried out, "I am the only one left." In reality, he wasn't alone, but that's how he felt. This is the burden borne by those with spiritual insight. They stand in their spiritual watchtowers and sometimes feel as though no one is standing beside them. Perhaps you've noticed that you're distancing yourself from crowds, not because you're avoiding people, but because the spiritual atmosphere surrounding certain people or activities is draining. You may feel sadness or disappointment when others don't take spiritual matters seriously. You might be labeled as too intense or too deep, but what others perceive as intensity is actually your heart burning for what is real. And let's be honest, being misunderstood hurts, especially when your intentions are pure. You're not trying to criticize. You're trying to protect. You're not trying to isolate. You're trying to step in, but you may feel that no one but God sees this. That was the day God spoke to Elijah in a gentle, quiet voice, not in the wind, nor in the fire. And he reminded him that there were still 7,000 who had not bowed the knee to Baal. In other words, you are not alone. If you've always felt excluded, overly sensitive, or too serious about the truth, God sees you and honors that burden.